welcome to another episode of Chatty Broads with Becca and Jess.
Well, hey, broads. Hey, broads. Hey, broads.
Snap is really
hey, broads. I mean, it is a little, it's a little muffled. Dull.
There we go. That's a snap.
Snappy. Hey, broads. How are y'all doing today?
Do you remember learning how to do things like that? Like when someone teaching you how to snap for the first time and teaching you how to whistle or...
Oh, so Ember learned how to snap, which is now, she just all day does this to me. And she gives me this look, and then she does this snap, and then she attacks me. That's what her thing is. She is one of the jets.
I love the sound of a snap.
Mm-hmm. And apparently she said she's the only kid in her class who can snap. So she feels very good about it.
Love it.
Okay, broad. So before we dive into this very exciting episode, just a reminder, we are recording this on Wednesday. I don't know what the day is. We always have to timestamp.
Yeah, I forgot. We're in that territory now.
We're in that territory because BIP is going on. Potential announcements are happening.
Let me just say this, broads. We are recording all of our Thursday episodes the day before, and we're recording all of our Tuesday episodes, track with me, almost a whole week before.
Yes.
So, and this is how we're going to be doing things with during the Bachelor in Paradise schedule. So just know, for about the next month at least, whenever we release a Tuesday episode, we don't know about anything that's happened in the past 4 to 5 days.
So this is being recorded on August 25th.
Yeah.
So we have no idea what the future has held at this point.
We're just having fun and just living in our ignorant world, whatever that looks like.
We're living in this existence and we're not 100% sure what the future holds. So just a little heads up on that. I just finished, right before we started recording, a tiff with my husband about actually a dating situation. We're going to be talking about dating profiles. I want to get your quick take on this before we dive into the broad profiles.
There's nothing I love more than someone asking for my opinion on a situation.
Okay, so I have been listening in recent days to the new Call Her Daddy. Come For Me. Listen, I would never listen to Call Her Daddy before any of the drama went down with their breakup. But because of being part of a podcast, I become interested.
And I did. I listened to Call Her Daddy before. Mm-hmm.
I listened to an episode or two. It wasn't necessarily my vibe. And then I started listening when they had the two hosts broke up. And I was like, I need to get in on what is going on with this drama and the money. I want to know all the tea. So since then, I will listen sometimes because the host Alexandra, now not part of Barstool.
Alex, by the way.
Alex. Not part of Barstool anymore. God bless. Does these these podcasts that are live vlogs from her week before.
At all.
Very, genius, entertaining. So she'll go for the weekend to the Hamptons and take all these voice memos and podcast the morning she wakes up after raging and talks about the night before and all this. Well, she just dropped a podcast episode because she was away in Vegas for her birthday. And something that happened while she was gone. So she's been dating a guy for a year now who's this mystery man. Before she was dating him, she went on Logan Paul's podcast. And apparently after, they hooked up. So she went down on him. And she is very famous for her head game.
Gluck Gluck.
Gluck Gluck. Is it Gluck Gluck?
It's the Gluck Gluck 3000.
Gluck Gluck 3000. Very famous for her head game. And so what basically ended up happening is it got out between the two of them that she had gone down on him, and he was like, she practices what she preaches. It was the best I've ever had. And she was like, oh my God, I can't believe you went out and did it. So it's news everywhere, right?
Where people a joke, are right? Where she's like, I can't believe you told people, or well,
she was a little bit like, what the fuck? You're just going to go out and start spilling this news. And so she was a little irritated, but she's like, I will accept the fact that yes, I am amazing at it. And it's not just all talk. Okay. I practice what I preach. So he's obviously very famous.
Yeah.
Especially in recent days.
Yeah.
And she was in Vegas. She goes to a club. They've had this Vegas trip planned for a while. She goes to a club. She's there with her boyfriend and her friends. And all of a sudden in the DJ booth, she spots Logan. They haven't seen each other since. And I'm hearing this And I'm going, oh God, there's going to be a fight that goes down. Because if I was in the boyfriend situation, I would feel uncomfortable. Because I'm like, everyone in the whole world knows that you guys have hooked up and he is going and singing her praises everywhere. I was seeing this happen on Instagram stories before she's posting it all on Instagram stories before she's doing it. So it's building up. I tell Evan, I'm like, oh, there's going to be drama because the boyfriend's there and now Logan's going to be like flexing on whatever. And Evan says, hands down, he's like, that would absolutely not bother me if I was the boyfriend.
Him being there or like what exactly?
Evan said that it absolutely would not bother him that if, let's just say I was Alex, it would absolutely not bother him if before we were dating, I had gone down on this very famous person. And then the very famous person was like telling the world. And then we bump into him. Evan would be like, I wouldn't even bat an eye. And I'm like, what?
I don't see why you would.
I would feel...
I mean, how you might feel is one way, but why would anything go down?
No. Evan was saying that it wouldn't bother him at all. And I'm like, now here's my thing, my take on this, and maybe it's just my personal...
Has Evan been in that situation with you?
Well, I told him, I was like, when exes of mine have gotten brought up, like, I'm like, you'll get defensive. I'm like, what if all of a sudden one of my exes walked in, even though you and I weren't dating? He's like, it wouldn't bother me at all.
No. Let me tell you something.
And I'm like, come on, dude.
Let me tell you something.
I appreciate you trying to be like, you were doing your thing. Like, it's fine. I'm like, I appreciate the acknowledgement of, yes, no one owns me and I can do whatever I want, but it would bother you.
Let me tell you something right now. I'm going to actually tie this into the podcast. Okay.
Love it.
So, I don't know if I've talked about this before, but Gray there's a lot of people that he's still close friends with.
Yes.
Who he has slept with or dated.
Okay, sure.
Like, I don't even think I can count the number of people I've met that he slept with at some point.
Okay, wow. Okay, so you have real firsthand experience with this.
I have real firsthand experience.
Okay. Please.
And I can tell you, especially in the first year of our relationship, when I was pregnant, not feeling great about myself or our relationship, all these kind of things, it was a little rough, but I have really worked through it, evolved, and I'm not joking when I said I've met at least a dozen people that he slept with, some of who he had serious feelings for even.
Okay.
Like, you know, I'm talking like spending weekends with people that he had a thing with.
Okay,
you know?
wow. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
And even there's been a time or two, even in the past year, where I've had a moment of being jealous, and then I've gone back and been like, and apologized, being like, you know what, that you weren't doing anything wrong. That is like my jealousy that I need to work through, right?
Love that.
Grayson had never been in this position before, ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's always said, like one time he slipped up like a year ago when we were listening to like an album on Spotify, and then he made a comment saying how he used to listen to that album when he would sleep with this one girl, you know? And I was just like, why would you tell me that? and I was like, imagine if I told you that. And he's like, oh, it wouldn't bother me. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's never been in that situation with me before.
Okay.
He listens to like 20 minutes of our episode with Eric, and he's like, why didn't you bring me up? Like, why didn't you talk about me?
I saw him right after he was listening to it, about to come to the podcast, and he was disheveled.
Now, look, we've talked through all this and everything, Rods. Don't worry. We've had a conversation.
No. He was fine, but it was...
But he was like, I mean, he had an actual jealous moment where he was like, why didn't you talk about me? Like, there was a moment where you said that you guys stopped seeing each other, but the reason that you guys stopped seeing each other is because you started dating me. Like, why didn't you say that in that moment? And I was like, what? And it was a little bit of a fight. And I was like, oh, wait. And it actually became a whole little fight. And then I was like, oh, wait, that's right. This is the first time you've ever had to be confronted with my sexuality outside of my sexual relationship with you. And I saw a little bit different side than what I had been promised if he was in that position before. So what I would say to Evan is, yeah, I'm sure you'd be cool as a cucumber.
Sure, you'd be fine.
Until you were confronted in a room with a guy who was going around saying about what great head Jess gives. In that position, then I would say, my guy, I'd love to see how you feel in that moment.
Thank you, because this is my thing. Listen, when you
hypotheticals are hypotheticals.
It's hypotheticals. Listen, when you are single and you're not cheating on this person on a partner, right? And you are living your own life and you are having sex or having any sort of sexual activity or romantic activity with another person, and then you start dating somebody and then they get jealous of your past relationship. That's on them. Like, I can acknowledge, like, when I get jealous, it's like, no, that's on me. And that's something I need to work it out in myself. And so if Evan, for example, in the situation with
barring
Alex,
any inappropriate interactions, or that go beyond boundaries that have already been set, because you can't break a boundary unless a boundary's been set, by the way.
Bada bing, bada boom. Wise words. So when I'm listening to this thing though with Alex and her Alexandra and her boyfriend, I'm going like, yes, if he has a jealous reaction, that's on him. Sure. But
don't act like you're a bigger man.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm in that situation, I cannot lie to you and say that I wouldn't feel, if I was the partner there, knowing that this person was like, telling the world how good I am, like, in bed, or how good my partner is in bed, that I wouldn't feel a ping of anything. Like, who is this person?
Oh, which, by the way, even though I have worked through a lot, I absolutely am still like, that bitch. Like,
you feel it a little bit,
which is totally natural and normal.
And I, on top of everything else, the biggest thing in that specific scenario was that I was like, to me, this isn't just a, like, your typical
someone you used to hook up with.
Ex. Yeah. It's like, this is news. This is like on every front page news that this guy's running his mouth about this. And then apparently she said that her boyfriend said that he's like, why? And he didn't even bring him up at first. And he goes, why has he been staring at you like that? And then she ended up talking to Logan, and Logan was just like, hey, I'm super sorry. Like, I was doing that. Yeah.
And I'm sure Logan also felt awkward too about being like, oh, sure, she's here.
And then the boyfriend's like, why aren't you introducing me to him if you guys are just friends? And there's all that.
Right.
But just the plain and simple with Evan then going like, there's zero issue.
Sure,
I was
big
like,
dog.
Sure. And so we were just bickering about it this morning because I was like, come on, like, someone who's super famous is going and talking about me like that.
No, hypothetical.
You feel something in your stomach.
No, because the way that he's evaluating it in his brain is Alex and Logan. It's not his wife in front of him,
right?
And an actual dude whose dick you sucked.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
the difference.
And so that's what I was trying to break down for him, and I was using past examples, and he was just kind of like, "You are your own person," and I'm like, I agree with you, and I appreciate what you're saying, but I'm just saying the reality of the situation. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
here.
It's different. We're all saying it's until you get put in a room, and then you're like.
And we were just,
and then you really are. You're just like, why were you talking to him like that?
Mm-hmm. And I brought up to him. I'm like, him and I were. This is, I guess, was a while ago, but like, I guess this was before the pandemic. This is crazy. We were at a party, and there was a guy there that I had been hanging out with like a group of my girlfriends who he had never met. Mm-hmm. This guy walks into the party. I see him at the front door. And I say hi to him, and then we like separate, and I don't introduce him to Evan the whole night.
Yeah.
It's like there's a ton of people. Yeah. It's a huge party. Yeah. And this guy I also don't really know that well. Right. It was just like in a big group of people with some of my girlfriends. He'd be there sometimes, but I don't have a relationship with him.
But with jealousy, that's a pointed thing. That's a pointed choice that you made.
Yes. And so then, as soon as we get in the Uber, Evan is very quiet. And I'm like, are you okay? And he goes, why didn't you introduce me to that guy? I've heard you talk about him before. You didn't introduce me to him? And I was like, so I brought that up this morning, and I was like, come on. I'm like, I never touched that man. I'm like, and that's bothering you. I'm like, come on.
What do you say to that?
He legit was just like, I just feel like it's different because you and I, when you met him, we were married. And I'm like, okay, I get that. I said, but my point is that I never touched him and you still felt that way. So come on.
No, and unless you are just, you know, I like to listen to, you know, a lot of like polyamory and like poly podcasts and stuff. They talk about all the time how jealousy is like normal. The goal is never to supersede jealousy.
Sure.
That's ridiculous.
It's just, you can't happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, maybe you do. If so, great. But it's not about eliminating jealousy. It's about learning how to work through it maturely and handle it as maturely as you can when you're faced with it.
And to his credit, Evan does always handle his jealousy he does handle it very well.
But to say, like you said, that he
wouldn't feel it at all, I was like, that's bullshit.
Bullshit. And also, you know what? So Gray and I talked about this too after he listened to like 20 minutes of the podcast with Eric. You know, we talked about it too, and I was like, okay, wait, do we like need to set a boundary? And he was like, no. He's like, you know what it was? I just like shouldn't have listened to it. And you know what? Like, I know how you and Evan, how you're like, no, it's fine if I go out and flirt. You know what? I bet if Evan was watching, he would be like, not because you do anything wrong, because those feelings are natural. And what it comes down to is sometimes it's just as long as there's trust, you do your thing. He doesn't have to see it or know about it.
Exactly.
And when you're confronted with a person, it's a little different.
Yes, exactly. And that's, I think, and because of that knowledge, we do have that understanding that when we are out, you know, alone with our friends, that we have set up that we're allowed to do that we've agreed that is our boundary. But when I'm with him out at a party, I'm not doing it with him there.
You're not gonna be like,
I'm like, but if we talked about that and both agreed that was okay, fine. But there's, you know, of course there's going to be more of a reaction. I'm sure if I saw it, if he was out and I see him flirting with someone, I'm going to feel it bubbling up. Even if literally that same night I'm going out and doing the same exact thing.
Right. Yeah. And you know, I don't think there's, I think people often are like, oh, well, would you do that, you know, in front of your partner? And it's like, no, I wouldn't. And I'm fine with that. And I think my partner probably knows that too. Sure. Of course, Gray's probably going to put more of his flirt on with a girl than he is if I'm standing right there. Sure. And to me, that's totally natural as long as we've said it's okay. You know, that's okay.
Yes, if that boundary's been set.
But yeah, of course, you're going to talk a little differently to your ex-boo thing or whatever. If it's just you two chatting and, you know.
Of course.
Flirting.
Of course.
Oh, that is funny though. So next time I see Evan, I'm going to rag on him about that.
I was putting my makeup on in the bathroom and him and I were literally just bickering about it for like an hour, and I was just
you're like, you really? And then you're getting mad about it. You're like, no, you won't be jealous.
No, I was like, I know you would be. I know you. I said, even if you wouldn't say anything, I know you. I'd see it written all over your face, and then I'd pull you aside and be like, are you okay? What aren't you telling me? And then I'd have to drag it out of you for the remainder of the night, and then I'd finally find out because you wouldn't want to make me. He then won't tell me because he doesn't want to make me feel bad because he's like, I recognize it's my issue. I'm like, but I can see it all over you, and that's okay.
Right.
But be honest.
Right.
Okay, broads, quick pause. Listen, this happens every single summer, and still, every single summer, I am surprised by it. One moment, it's the beginning of June, and then I blink, and it's Labor Day, and we're more or less into fall. So I'm promising to make the most of every last second we have of summer, which means the last thing I will be doing is spending time in the kitchen preparing meals. Not when there's an easier way to do things with Daily Harvest.
Okay, Daily Harvest, we have been singing their praises for years now, you guys. I've been getting boxes from Daily Harvest since, I think, before Ruth was born. But anyway, they deliver delicious food, all built on whole organic fruits and vegetables right to your door. They stay fresh in your freezer until you're ready to use them. And I particularly loved Daily Harvest when I was in the early postpartum stages with both my kids, because it was just like easy, very nutritious meals and snacks ready to go whenever. I start my morning with one of Daily Harvest smoothies. It's a treat. They're so good. They're so fast and so nutritious. My go-to right now is the blueberry hemp smoothie. I mix it up with some almond milk. It's just so good.
And Daily Harvest handles much more than just breakfast. They've also got hearty soups or crispy flatbreads for lunch. I'm loving their artichoke and spinach flatbread lately. Harvest bowls, if you're looking for a dinner option, so good. And of course, everyone's favorite, their plant-based scoops for dessert. Do yourself a favor and try their vanilla sweet caramel flavor. You will not regret it, I promise. Every meal, every time of day, Daily Harvest has you covered.
Get more time back to do you and take care of yourself this summer. Go to dailyharvest.com/chatty to get up to $40 off your first box. That's dailyharvest.com/chatty for up to $40 off of your first box. dailyharvest.com/chatty. And I just love that it's so quick and convenient, but I know that I'm putting really good stuff in my body.
So I personally don't have kitties, but my family does, and I can tell you one thing. Cat parents will do anything for their cats, from finding the best food, to giving them the biggest indoor cat castle that will fit in their apartment, to even giving them the best litter for their litter box. There's no limit to what a cat person will do for their cat.
As a cat person myself, I can fully attest to this. The best food, check. The best toys, check. And the best litter, now, check. I use Pretty Litter for my 2 cats. After just trying about every brand out there, I can say with confidence, nothing even comes close to Pretty Litter. For starters, there's 0 smell. Actually, like, no smell. That was the most shocking to me because I didn't believe it could be done. Generally, like, our litter box is smelling after, like, 6 hours, and I feel like we have to change out all of the litter again. But Pretty Litter's ultra-absorbent crystals trap odor instantly, and the litter lasts up to a month. I'm telling you guys, I forget I even have a litter box in my house, and I feel like it really saves money in the long run because before I was replacing the litter what felt like every single day.
And unlike conventional litters, Pretty Litter doesn't have any irritants or chemicals that can aggravate allergies or asthma, making it safer not only for your cat, but also for your whole family. And the best part? Pretty Litter helps you stay on top of your cat's health by changing colors when it detects early signs of potential illness, including urinary tract infections and kidney issues. I mean, that's pretty amazing from a cat litter.
Love is putting your cat's health first with Pretty Litter. Do what I did and make the switch today by visiting prettylitter.com and use promo code CHATTY for 20% off your first order. That's prettylitter.com, promo code CHATTY for 20% off. prettylitter.com, promo code CHATTY.
Anywho.
Anyway, okay. So today what we're doing something really fun. We are going to be analyzing dating app profiles that broads have sent in with full consent that we share their names and photographs.
I would like to
and we
say-
shall be assessing.
Thank you so much to all of you brave broads who are willing to send us with consent to show your face and your name.
Appreciate it
We
so
really
much.
appreciate it. And I do have to say this. We were sent like maybe 1,000. We were sent a lot. So obviously trying to pick. So when we were going through, what I just did is I just picked the ones that had just come in first. So I'm sorry if yours is not part of this.
Yeah.
I'm sure we will continue to do this because we are excited to do it and we're going to have a grand old time. But just wanted to say that for those broads who are sad that if we don't discuss your profile in this.
I gotta say, I am looking through these and it just shows how inept I am with dating app comprehension. I am a little confused with some of the little taglines on here.
Me too. And we don't, and you know what? We have not been on the dating apps.
That like we've both never actively used dating app profiles, and here
So
we are.
take that into consideration when we tell you what we think you should be doing is that we have no idea what we're talking about.
No experience at all.
Cut to me, like Evan leaves me and I go on dating apps and like I just never can get a date from it. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be good at this.
Although I do think what we should do, which we've thrown around before, I think the 4 of us should do a challenge where we each make a dating app profile and we can figure out like the ratio of how many like responses we get back, as you know, and do like a little friendly competition.
Oh, I do enjoy that.
Doesn't that sound kind of fun?
I do like that.
Ready for your life to be taken over by these pretend, like maybe like I guess it's kind of fucked up to fuck with people. No, just not even engage with them. Just see how many people you can get to like
Swipe.
match with you, or what's the lingo? Match with you, message you back. I don't know.
Yeah, but we couldn't engage.
What is it, like poke you? I don't know how any of this works. Is that a Facebook thing?
Match.
No, but you know how people don't act like you know. Isn't there a little things where you like, you know, like on Facebook where you like poke someone.
Oh, I remember the poking.
I think like someone was just telling me on Grindr, there's a thing where you like, it's
can
sort of
poke?
like a poke, but you don't message.
But it's just like, hey, I'm here.
Right.
Oh, I like that.
I don't know.
That's fun.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. So we're going to start out with Emma, aka Crispy.
Oh, I love a nickname. Crispy. We love it.
So I do, you know what? We should have had people clarify. So broads, I have to say my assessment will be going along with this lack of knowledge too. Is this person looking for a relationship or a hookup? Because how you're going to do your date, how you're going to do your profile to me varies based on that.
Very, very important truth. Very important truth.
So I guess I'll just meet it in the middle. We're going to assume every single person is looking to have some fun that could lead to a serious relationship.
Okay, so Emma, aka Crispy.
Okay. Love that this could be us with the cat and her.
Love that. Absolutely. I'm looking now at. Okay, so Emma is straight. She's 26.
Okay, I do think we should assess like this. We should first go over just the words, the blurbs that they choose to include, the little jokes, whatever. Just purely text.
Yes, and then we will review the photos.
Yes.
Okay. So first we have the comment, the one thing I'd love to know about you is your wingspan.
I say no.
Yeah, I don't necessarily feel like...
First of all, we're starting with heightism.
And you know that is a trigger for Becca.
No, but I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely... So I think starting off, Emma, a.k.a. our crispy broad, I see you're 5'7", so you're a little bit on the taller side. But like we talked about in one of our past episodes, I think... Yes, I understand being attracted to someone who is taller if you're taller, but I think you might potentially negate some really good options.
Exactly.
You might also have men who even are a little bit like who are taller than you. Let's just say they're like 5'9", 5'10", but
Right.
might be insecure about
Right, because
height.
like what, are you looking for a 6'3" guy? You
Right.
know?
So some guy who maybe is 5'9" might go, oh, she's only going to be down for a guy who's 6'3", so I'm not going to swipe because of that. And he might be a really amazing, wonderful guy, but might be a little bit in his head because girls have talked about, you know, wanting a 6'something guy.
And by the way, since this is just a dating app profile, I'm going to be very kind of like extreme with my feelings about this. But that could also, someone's initial take, especially if that's the very first thing on your dating app, could be she's superficial. You know, whatever.
Sure.
That's, again, a very extreme take.
Listen, broads, we're gonna try to go in on this because the fact of the matter is I've looked through most all of these photos briefly and everyone is looking beautiful. Everyone's looking wonderful. We are dealing with prime people in the broad squad. So we're gonna try to analyze this shit.
And the thing is, you know, you're on dating apps, you're going through potentially thousands of people. So you want to make sure you stand out and put your absolutely best foot forward. So let's think of something different than one thing I'd love to know about you is your wingspan. One thing you want it to be cheeky. You want it to be a conversation starter. Where can you go with wingspan? Oh, you're tall. Oh, you have a big wingspan. How tall are you? You know, what conversation can go from there?
Right.
Like, what childhood movie character traumatized you? That's like very long, but you know what I'm saying? Where it's something
I
like,
love that. Maybe the one thing
obviously the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but
or even like, then in reverse, right? The one thing I'd like to know about you is your cartoon childhood crush. Like, have them send in, you know, like, oh, I was super into The Little Mermaid, or like, I loved jazz. Like, that's a fun, and, you know, most everybody can relate to those. You know, you might have the same cartoon childhood crush that might bond you together.
if your personality was a cereal, what brand would you be, or what kind would you be, or whatever?
Yeah, a fun conversation starter. I know when we've talked before with other friends, a lot of times the first comment that you see, the first question that you see, best thing to always do is to have a conversation starter. Something that people feel like they have, okay, I know how to immediately send a message to this person, right? Like you said, height, it's not, unless a guy can slide into the DMs and say like, hey, guess what? And pull a Thomas and be like, I'm 6'6". Okay, well, what else? that's then all you know about him is that he's the guy who's going to let you know how tall he is.
I also
Cool.
don't think you want to get too niche in it because you could say something like, well, one thing I love to know about you is who's your favorite serial killer. Maybe you love like murder or true crime, but you don't want to do something like that either because then some people who aren't into like true crime or whatever might be like, what the fuck, and swipe on. You want it to be a catch-all of sorts where someone can show something unique about themselves and have a little fun with it, and you guys can take the conversation somewhere, but it has to be something so broad that anyone potentially could answer the question.
Something like, I want to know what subject in school growing up you thought was the most useless.
Sure.
Right? Someone
A little lengthy, but sure.
Sure.
But,
You can edit it
you
down.
you don't even want to do something like, which Spice Girl would you be? Because what if somebody doesn't know the Spice Girls?
Right, then they're not going to do it. But guess what? Most everyone's watched cartoons. Most everyone's gone to school.
Had cereal.
Has an opinion to a certain degree. Or you can even have a thought starter that's more like something like prove to me why such and such is better than such and such. Like a little bit of a debate starter.
I love that.
If you like that, if you like to go back and forth and have fun conversation, make something, prove to me why, we're talking, breakfast food right now, but something like prove to me why, pancakes are better than waffles.
Yeah.
Like something, it sounds stupid.
But then that one ostracizes people who think that waffles are better than pancakes.
But then it also allows someone to be like, I'm team waffle too. Like, or
That's fun. Team waffles or team pancakes.
Yeah. Like it sounds so silly, but it does open up conversation. I feel like that's always sometimes the hardest way to start any sort of online situation. Like what someone says hi.
Right.
And then you're like, hey, it's like, what's up? What are you into? Like it starts off stale and then there's the pressure of trying to keep a conversation going. But if you start it with a fun question or conversation like that, it opens up like, okay, so Jasmine was your childhood crush.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, like, okay, so like how old were you when that came out? Okay, oh my God, like
one thing I'd love to know about you is who do you think is the hottest Disney character of all time?
Yeah, that's so fun. That's so fun.
Yeah.
And
you
you
guys
start
can also
so
have a
many
little flirty conversation too. I like that. And being like, okay, I think we've covered that one. Okay. I get along best with people who have an HBO Max login. Again, I would nix this one.
Okay, why?
And then she said, okay, it's kind of fun. She said, this year I really want to get an HBO Max login. That's like the follow-up
Yeah,
thing.
that's then the cute, cheeky part.
I say no, and here's why. I know this sounds like I'm reaching, but if someone doesn't have an HBO Max login or doesn't even really like watch streaming websites that much, it's kind of like, I can't relate to this person at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, it does.
It sounds ridiculous to say that this could potentially ostracize
It's
one
It's one of those things where when there is maybe a specific thing like that, unless it's something that you have a hard stance on and you're like, fuck anyone who doesn't have an HBO Max login or fuck anyone who doesn't want to binge watch TV with me, that is an absolute deal breaker. Then it's like, yeah, put that out there. But if you're like, oh no, I don't need somebody who likes just binge watching whatever or like, or is like super into like TV shows, then you're right. It might.
You know what it's like to me? It's like someone on their app, on their dating profile who keeps making a joke like this about dogs. Look, do I hate dogs? No. Do I love dogs? No. Like, is it a deal breaker for me if someone loves dogs? No. But I have a much higher chance of just keep on going because I'm like, what? Okay, this person is making it clear that they want it. Like, I don't know. It's just, you want someone to go on your profile and feel like they could connect to you. And since you're only showing like 2 or 3 things, 2 little blurbs, you want to make those as broad yet unique as possible. So if someone's doing something like HBO Max and someone is like, what the fuck? They're going to just swipe past you and you could miss out on the love of your life.
Very true. It's true. It's true. It sounds silly, but it's true.
Yes. Like, what about instead of like, I get along best with people who, accept my borderline unhealthy TV habits.
Yeah, because it puts it on you.
Right. They don't have to have the same habit. But you could still reveal something, maybe like, but I don't even know about that, because then that could be potentially unflattering. Like I said, this is all just...
yeah, you're just trying to catch as many people as possible. It's true.
In your web,
It's true.
in your profile
and I know
web.
like there is a level of like, no, but I'm trying to find the right person. But it's like at the end of the day, it is online dating. So in my opinion, like the more options, the better, right? Because you can only gather so much from someone online.
Yeah.
It's not actually meeting someone in person. So I'd be like, I want as many people flocking in that I can personally just field out as many people as possible.
And I know people want to be like sarcastic, but I would tend to err on the side of being a more positive kind of like sarcasm or cheekiness rather than a negative one. Because you read some people's profiles and maybe they're nice people, but you're just like, okay, you're just a hater, you know? You're like, cats are my enemy, whatever. It's like, I don't care if I might not love cats, but I'm still like, why are you,
Sure, no,
don't
I
put,
hear you.
put out your best vibe, you know?
Yeah.
So I get along best with people who, let's play off of the thing she has right now. So it's like have an HBO Max login, get an HBO Max login. Like,
okay, I'm just thinking about this. Well, it doesn't single out drinking, but I'm seeing this photo of her, and since she is drinking a margarita, I was thinking something like, I get along best with people who will wake up. I get along best with people who will wake up at 9 a.m. and do brunch with me on Sunday. And then the next one would be something like, I get along best with people who will pay for my 9 a.m. brunch on Sunday. Something maybe along those lines.
see, but then even that could give off the vibe that maybe you're looking for someone to just like pay for your meal.
Exactly.
And but again,
the
you want to
energy
catch
I'm trying to put out.
You want to do a bait and switch.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I would just stick with like, yeah, I get along best with people who can support me in my TV addiction or like TV binging addiction or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. And this year I really want to find someone to binge trashy reality TV with or something, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so those are the statements that we have from her.
Yeah.
Now on to the photos.
Yeah.
I have to say, from first glance, looking at Emma at your pictures, I really appreciate the variety that we have.
Yes.
I feel like we see you, Emma, in, different states. We see you like the full body dressed up, looking so cute. We then see you with you got your mask on and you got your workout gear. See you having your margarita with your cat. A really pretty like full face shot. And then the funny Pokemon one, which is a little more of like your personality.
Yeah.
I appreciate that because I think, I know we've talked about that having the friends in some photos sometimes is fun to have like a friend in one or two. I think probably just one is best to be like, yes, I do have people that I hang out with and I do like that vibe. But I like that I'm like, I know that when I'm swiping through personally that I know I'm looking at Emma every single time.
Yeah.
And I see Emma. It's almost like what I just saw. Yeah, it's almost like what I just saw was I saw a week with Emma.
Yeah.
It was like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Emma.
I would lead personally with the cat pic. I really like that pic. I think it's sweet. It's kind of sexy. And I really like that photo. It's also like a high quality photo. And there's very little, like in the one that's the woke up like this one, that one does have like a little bit of editing and like all that kind of thing. And then the first one's really cute though. And I like that it's like a very cute full body shot. Personally though, my favorite's the cat one, but I agree. I like that it does show different states. It shows like a little partying, a little like workout outfit.
I like having a one that has a little more of like a quirky personality one. Like I enjoy that you have one that has the Pokemon in it because it shows off. It is specific, but it's your specific personality and something that you're into. I was going through some of these other ones and some people have like, ones that are a little more like a photo of scenery or a photo of like a big group photo. And my thing is, it's like all of these are precious. You only have like these few photos that you can use. So you have to think about that. And you don't want to just throw one in. So I like that even in Emma's quirky photo with the Pokemon, that it's like a beautiful picture of her looking sexy. And you can see her, but then you also have this fun personality twist to it.
That's the only one I'm iffy on, only because it's a lower quality photo than the others.
Yes, that is the only thing that I was going to say. I'm going to turn the air on very quickly. I'm burning up.
It's hot as hell in here.
It's so hot. Yes, that is the only thing that I was going to say.
The lighting's a little off.
That was the only thing I was going to say. Some of these photos, the damn you look good one, and then the photo with the Pokemon, the images are a tad blurry.
I would switch those out. Here would be my suggestion. I think you can get the same vibe, but what I would switch up in particularly those two photos is I would have my suggestion would be to be somewhere. And be somewhere where that person where like, for example, as seen on my mom's fridge, what if it was like a goof, this is just an idea, but like what if it was like you with like your butt and like a peace sign in front of like a wall of stuffed animals at like a toy store or something like that.
Love that.
Still silly, but you're out and about.
Yes.
You're doing something, and maybe the lighting's a little better. And with like the mask mirror selfie, like even something that would shake up that one would be like, what if you were holding a yoga mat and you were like outside, like in a reflective building or something?
Love that.
You're going somewhere, you're doing something.
To your point, I will say this. If I was on a dating app right now, I know that one of my errors that I would make is that I am not intentional typically about taking photos. So I could see myself going on this app and a lot of selfies of me, it being like, oh, I look pretty tonight and I like the lighting. So I'm going to take a selfie of me. And so then those would be the ones that I'd use. I believe it is worth your time if you're going to invest any time on a dating app to spend a Saturday with a few of your friends and you guys can do it for each other.
Doing things, going places.
Go around town, literally have a couple outfits with you, do what you love to do, have some funny ones, and you guys literally can switch off taking like fun, good photos for yourself that are good quality and that are intentional.
I will say my two favorite, well, I just like the cat one because it's pretty and it's cute with the cat. And also people could then bond with like telling you about their cat, whatever. That's why I like that one. But the margarita one is great because it's like a candid shot. It's not all like edited up. You can just see who you are. You're doing something. So to me, that sends a lot of messages. Like, here's how I look. You know, because honestly, on dating apps, like people want to see like, how do you really look? Here's how I look, and here's me doing something, and I'm a fun person.
Completely. And again, you could literally go out on a Saturday with some of your friends and be like, okay, let's have a date. I don't know what you love to do, but let's just say like, I want to go hiking. I want to take the dog for a walk. Let's go then out and grab drinks for lunch, get an ice cream, go grab a coffee. Just have a normal day that you would have together with friends and use that as an opportunity to have them take some take time to take some like quality photos.
Yeah. You could also do a shtick and you could like, it would be kind of fun, this is probably more for men though than women. It would be a fun shtick to like have something like, I don't know, stuffed animal's kind of goofy, but where you like have something like a certain like drink and sunglasses and it's you with that like drink and sunglasses in a bunch of different places.
That would be really funny. I would definitely comment.
Like at the gym on a treadmill, like with your drink and sunglasses.
You would comment on that. Right. For sure. If you had an Easter egg in every single one of your photos.
Exactly.
Like
and you're just holding it.
Yeah, I don't mean literally an Easter egg.
And it's like
but
you,
I mean
but it's like something like that. And it's like you pumping gas and you have your like margarita and sunglasses. Yes. And it's like in every single
one. It's a great conversation starter. I would comment on it.
Use that. You can use that. All right, let's move on, actually.
Emma, thank you. Love you, our crispy broad. Okay, broads.
We're gonna get through like 3 of these, by the way.
Oh no, we're gonna do it. Okay, next we have a chatty bro.
Yes, and I'm reading right now that he had a crush on me, so I'm obsessed already.
You're like done and done. His name is Dan Lee, and he has been a fan of the Chatty Broads for a while. He loves the Chatty Bros, but he's noticed that we, when we're doing these, a lot of times, we have a lot of broads.
For the ladies.
It's for the ladies. And so he wants in.
Okay, so here's the thing. Now this, it's difficult because like we were saying, you want a web that's going to catch as many people as possible. But actually this profile is, maybe you're very selective and you do only want to snag a niche portion of the population. I think you have to be very careful with that though.
Yeah, because there are times where you can find someone who is not specifically into all the things that you love yet. Maybe they haven't explored getting to know certain things, and once they get to know you, you can introduce this new person to a lot of fun hobbies and things that you enjoy. But if you're too niche in your profile, you might then, someone might swipe because it's like, oh, I'm not into those things and I don't have anything to offer this person if they're super into all those things.
Well, I will say this. Okay. We're going to the words portion first. I love the first one. What if I told you? He says, what if I told you that I've seen a ghost? I know it's hard to believe, and even having literally seen it myself, my brain tries to rationalize it. But nah, it was a ghost. I think that's 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Talk about a conversation starter. Exactly what we were talking about.
How can anyone resist?
You're like, the second I want to immediately I want to find Dan and DM him and be like, I believe you.
And it's perfectly general. Like, no one is shut out in this conversation. Everyone's invited in. And you can also tell a lot by a person by how they're going to interact with you with this story.
Yes, and you're going to get all sorts of responses. People are just going to be like, oh my God, I believe you, I have too. And then you could, where were you? Like, whatever.
Or I'm sure people will be like, ghosts aren't real, prove me wrong.
Yes, it's fun. You can be flirty and fun. The second I see this, I'm engaged. I'm like, and what I know right away too is you're going to be fun to talk to.
Yes.
Because I can tell by the way that it's set up and written that you're going to be an interesting person to talk to.
Now, this is what's interesting. And so the second part is I geek out on music, Japanese funk from the late 70s in particular, Lord of the Rings, literature, cinema, vinyl, and I'm a sucker for unavoidable existential dread. Now look, I like most of those things. However, I would hesitate to engage with this person because what it says to me is pretentious. You specifically chose literature, cinema, and vinyl as your choices. You like movies and books and music. Why are you trying to get all like I'm an intellectual?
And listen, Dan Lee, I can tell by your email to us that you are playful and fun. It's true. When I read that, I go, if I get together with him, he's probably going to lecture me about cinema, and I don't feel necessarily comfortable telling him that one of my favorite movies is like this stupid rom-com.
One of my favorite movies is Parent Trap.
Yeah, exactly.
I want you to watch Princess Diaries with me, not force me to watch, Cronenberg every time we want to just sit down and zone out.
And I also know, Dan Lee, because you had a crush on Becca from Ari season, that you watched The Bachelor. But I read this and I go, there's no way that this guy would ever watch reality TV with me. He's only going to watch these like high-end indie films.
So if you are going to use words like cinema and literature, you need to balance it out by showing that you're not too highbrow to engage with the masses. So if you're going to say literature, then please also say trashy reality TV in the next breath.
You throw that in there because then it welcomes way more individuals. It really does. I feel the same exact way as you because when I look at this stuff, I'm like, I enjoy most of these things, but I feel the same way. I'd feel like I enjoy most of these things, but I'm also not like a high-end connoisseur of them.
So that makes you feel insecure.
I feel like maybe I feel insecure. I feel like maybe he might lecture me about it if I say the wrong thing. And again, like we know from your email, you also love The Bachelor.
Right.
But if I knew that, I'd be like, oh my God, what an interesting person.
Yeah.
I can talk to Dan Lee about anything.
Yeah, and also, I know you're trying to be funny, but I'm a sucker for unavoidable existential dread, where my head immediately goes, I'm like, are you going to be this Holden Caulfield Catcher in the Rye motherfucker? I get where you're coming from.
Yes.
Again, because like we read your email and you're very fun, but no, don't. Okay. You know what I would do? I would switch it out. Like I geek out on. Instead, I would do something like I love to, and you could do show people my extensive Japanese funk collection.
Love.
You know?
You can even open it up like again, I think the words because how many profiles do we read that say I love reading and I love movies? Right. So it's the words literature and cinema and vinyl. I know what you're going for, but it does send a certain message.
What if you said, here's something kind of fun, because you are a niche person. What if you say, like, I geek out on both, what's a famous director? Or
all I can think of are like the Coen brothers right now. I don't know why.
Well, anyway, you could be like, I geek out on both blah, blah, blah films and The Bachelor, period.
Love
like,
it.
Top 20 hits and late 70s Japanese funk. Show that you're someone, you've got to show that you're not pretentious.
Yes. Or even, like, I would then say, too, if you are going to have maybe this statement, you then would maybe want one of your photos would be of you watching trashy reality TV, like with a thumbs up, like smiling, joking around that it's like, okay, he's playful.
Yeah.
He's into all of these things that are more highbrow, right?
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
But also he's joking around about whatever.
First photo's fun. Second photo.
Okay, we're going into photos now. Okay.
Second photo is a selfie in the mirror with the thing is about these photos is they show two very similar angles of your face.
I love the first photo. I Feel Famous one, and it's of Dan Lee playing the guitar. I feel like that's a great traction. Especially, if you're in music, like a fun photo, like this photo too, this isn't some like in your house selfie of you standing there playing a guitar.
Right.
This is like oh my God, he's like proper on stage. He's rocking out. I'm like, I'm in. Sounds great. I'm continuing to look at your profile after seeing this.
Yeah. But the second photo, like I said, shows a similar angle of the face, and we don't really get to see his face. And also, you know what I'm realizing as I'm going through these? I don't like bathroom mirror shots because, you know what? I want to know that you have friends to take a photo of you in the real world. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. What I think my biggest fault would be if I had it is that I tend to always take, like, when I'm with people, I never ask them to take my photos, so I'm always like taking them myself. But it's nice. I will say though too, if every photo is taken by someone else, the truth of the matter is if I'm swiping, I'm going, oh my God, is this person always making people stop and take pictures of them?
True.
Because that's a little bit like, oh God, I don't want to sign up for that either.
Well, this first one's obviously like from a fun event. You know what I would do for my second photo if I were him in particular? I would do something like cheeky where you're being silly, where you like have a rose and you're like smelling it, and someone has a photo of you and you're like in a garden like smelling a rose.
Yeah, definitely more of a picture where we can see more of your face, like straight on, so I can see like who you are, what you like truly look like,
and you can have fun with it.
Yeah,
at the same time.
But I definitely feel, listen, I have to tell you, Dan Lee, that I appreciate a person who is rocking out on stage into some highbrow shit and who listens to our podcast and watches The Bachelor. You are a very dynamic individual, and I would love for your profile to show that because I think that is so interesting and so cool.
Yes.
Okay, broads, one more quick pause. Listen, it may be one of my more childish habits, but I will actively avoid going to the post office. If I have online returns to do or I need to mail something, I literally start a pile on my kitchen table and wait until the last possible second, like the day before I can't return my items or whatever it may be, to go ship them back. And I may be dramatic, but for real, does anyone really love going to the post office?
Oh no. I'm going to go with a big no on that one, because between the long lines, the small parking lots, and the crazy expensive postage, it's not a fun time. The other day I had to go to the post office because I had to pick up a package they were holding for me, and it made me remember why I have stamps.com, because you can do everything you would normally do at the post office right from your home computer. You can print official US postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send. And once you're done, you can simply schedule a pickup so they can pick it up from your front door, or you can just drop it off at the post office, and that's really fast too because you already have all the stamps and postage ready to go.
Okay, so obviously you're going to save a ton of time when you use stamps.com, but it gets even better because you can also save money. With stamps.com, you'll get discounts up to 40% off post office rates and up to 66% off UPS rates. I mean, really, it is a no-brainer.
Stop wasting time going to the post office and go to stamps.com instead. There's no risk. And with our promo code CHATTY, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. I have the scale. It's very helpful for all my package sending. And there's no long-term commitments or contracts. So just go to stamps.com, click on the mic at the top of the homepage, type in CHATTY. That's stamps.com, promo code CHATTY. Stamps.com, never go to the post office again.
Okay, so I'm an absolute sucker for a good sauce. Dip, spread, I love everything from super spicy salsas to creamy hummus. You name it, I'm probably a fan. But of all the sauces, dips, and spreads I have tried, and trust me, there have been many, there's only one sauce that reigns supreme in my world, a sauce so good, I keep at least 4 bottles on hand at all times and have been known to give it as a gift even, and I'm talking about truff hot sauce, baby. Wow.
You guys, I know we have said it before, but I am going to say it again. Jess and I are freaking obsessed with the stuff that is truff. I personally never really thought of hot sauce as a premium lifestyle product until I tried truff. And now it all makes sense. It's so much more than just hot sauce, which is probably why it's got more than 1 billion shout outs on Instagram. And it's the #1 best-selling sauce on Amazon and at Whole Foods. People go crazy for this stuff, and for good reason, because all of their products are infused with 100% real black winter truffle, no synthetic flavoring at all. And also, like we've said, this is a perfect gift because the packaging is incredible. The taste is incredible. Oh my God, I love truff.
And trust me, that's obvious in the flavor. It is so much more than a hot sauce because it doesn't just add spice to dishes. It adds so much dimension, which is why I add it to everything. Legit everything. They have 3 different hot sauces to try, but also so much more. Truff has everything from mayonnaise to truffle oil. And one of my other favorites, oh my God, truff pasta sauce. It makes the most basic boiled noodle taste like a freaking 5-star dining experience, and I cannot get enough of it.
Get 15% off site-wide plus free shipping with promo code CHATTY at truff.com. That's 15% off everything at TRUFF.com, promo code CHATTY. So it's like truffle but without the LE. Truff.com, promo code CHATTY.
On to the next.
Now, I already scrolled down a little bit and I'm looking. Okay, broads, if you do have a name that's not a common name, if you want to send a long pronunciation, that's great. We just don't want to absolutely botch it. It's pronounced it's spelled Tiye. So we're just going to go by the first initial T, so we're not botching this whole thing, calling you Ty or anything else if that's not how you pronounce your name.
Yes.
So we're going to go with T.
T.
Jess, I'm not going to lie. Scrolling through this, I'm like, this is a pretty damn good profile.
I know.
And I think we need to analyze why. Okay.
T. The first statement says, you should leave a comment if you're okay with a laugh that's funnier than the joke.
I love that.
Love.
Self-deprecating, but cute.
I also can immediately hear your laugh. and I want to like I can picture it in my brain, and I want to hear it in person. I want to hear what you sound like in person.
I also think this is a perfect like first photo. It's like sexy without being too much. We see your beautiful face. We see your beautiful bod. We have you with a cute little pose outside. I like it. I like it. I would only crop out that dirty ass railing. That's my only.
Oh my goodness, I wouldn't even see. This is I'd have to send my photos to you before
Not
because
like any man's gonna notice when you have that gorgeous look
I never
going on.
notice. I always take photos and almost post them on Instagram, and then I realize the absolute disaster behind me, and then I'm like, whoopsie, I probably don't want to get all of a million comments about my
Just look
massive
at how
pile of
gorgeous
laundry.
I am. No, I love that as a lead-in though. You're okay with a laugh that's funnier than the joke. Love that.
Absolutely love it. Okay, so I have to tell you that with some of these, for instance, the one where it says me in the wild, and then you see the photo and it says no one, this is actually
A video.
It's a video, and T is starting at the front, and I believe says something like, I think makes a comment about being drunk, and is rolling from the front to the back, and it is hilarious.
Amazing.
It's hilarious. It's cute. It's funny. I have not seen often videos on people's dating profiles, and I like a video. I like when I can see you like in action and not necessarily just in a photo. And also you can hear her voice. I like being able to hear someone's voice. I'm very auditory.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I love it. I also love that. Okay, so yeah, I think that's so fun. I also appreciate when someone's dating at profile. And this was kind of my issue with Dan Lee's, the second portion. You don't want to get the impression that someone takes himself too seriously.
Sure.
And
I can
love
tell
that.
by Dan Lee's message
That he doesn't.
take himself
Right.
seriously.
Right.
And that he's super playful.
Right.
From his personal email to us. So I'm like, I want people to see that about you.
So I love that she has this goofy ass video of herself.
Oh my God, it's so funny. I was dying laughing watching it.
And then another part of the text says, the key to my heart is seafood. I'd risk it all for some crab legs. Love that too. It's like, I'd risk it all for some crab legs.
Love it.
It's silly. It's fun. The only note I might make with that is like, none of these little comments are particularly well, I guess the video is, but I would say otherwise not a huge conversation starter.
Yeah, that was my only thing with T's profile is that now I think the video was a big conversation starter because I could see so many people messaging and being like, I'm dying at your video, or like, this is what I do when I'm, when I've been drinking or whatever, like, or like, what are you doing? Like, whatever, like a fun way to start a conversation. But most of the statements, that's like if I was being extra particular with T's profile is like maybe something that is a little more of like,
This is what I do. The key to my heart is seafood, period. Let's debate, crab legs or lobster with a bunch of question marks.
Yes. Love it.
Hook them in there.
Love it.
My other thing with the photos, I would just take out that like blurry bathroom photo.
Okay, so that was the
It's
other
unnecessary.
thing. So that is a boomerang.
Oh.
So that is a boomerang, and so it's not blurry in the boomerang, and she's kind of doing like a little like shimmy.
Okay.
In the mirror. I think in general, personally, I am not a big fan of just the bathroom photos in general, unless you're in a bathroom that is like conversation bathroom, right? So like, for instance, if I take a photo in my bathroom is, standard bathroom, right?
Yeah.
I got my toilet,
Right.
I got like a 1980s backsplash and like a small mirror.
Versus like a mirrored crazy ass bathroom.
I'm saying, if you're gonna do a bathroom, it's like, okay, maybe there's like tons of like restaurants that like there are cool bathrooms that you could have that like have like a full length photo. But there's something about a bathroom shot that at least for me, I think about it being in a bathroom.
Yeah.
If I can tell that it's a bathroom.
Yeah. Also with the next photo in the blue and red dress, The only thing is it's also in the same location, and this is being nitpicky, but I would swap that out for, like, let's say you with a drink, or if you don't drink, you know, like with a burger, like I would swap it out for something like that.
Yes. Not always in the same, like I'm assuming these are the steps outside of your front door.
Yeah.
One photo, perfect. If you're taking it in the same spot, yeah, it's like mix up the scenery a little bit.
Right.
Also, the last one, the gorgeous shot close up of her face, is also a video, and it's like the sun hitting her and her kind of like smiling and then turning her face into something serious.
That.
It's stunning.
Okay.
And this is something, again, another thing that I haven't noticed on very many people's profiles is a tight face shot. And I love it.
And since it's a video too, it's not like you know that it's not like heavily edited or something like that.
Yeah, and like and she, like with the sun hitting her, like the way like I said, she was turning, and at one point she's smiling and then she's more serious, and it's just like a very like pretty, you know, all angles of her face photo.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think it's a great profile.
Yeah, other than the question, more of the engaging, and then maybe just different locations other than around or in the apartment. Maybe mix up the environment a little more, but in general, yeah.
Yeah.
Love.
Okay, I'm really excited for this next one.
Next we have Jenna.
Okay.
Now,
she specifically says...
can we read what she specifically says? Yes. I love it. So Jenna says that she would love some advice. She lives in Colorado and only seems to attract granola men. Sorry, Becca.
Should I be offended?
Listen, girl, you like the climbers. You like a little more of the granola, right?
This is where granola to me is talking about how they like don't shower because it's better for the environment. Granola.
But I will tell you.
But look, also you're in fucking Colorado. Yeah, you're gonna get a bunch of Tiva wearing fools sliding into your DMs, I'm sure. What were you gonna say? We'll tell you what.
Oh no, I was gonna say, you know, in comparison, sometimes it's like,
Sure.
like, you know, you are way more granola than I am.
Sure.
So it's like, you know, a little more of the
Sure.
comparison. I'm a little more of like, you know, girl, stop using so much plastic energy. That's my journey. Okay.
And honestly though, that makes me wonder. I'm like, also though, like, are you just in an area where it's mostly granola men?
Sure.
Like, because that's the other thing. I don't think her profile is calling out to granola men at all.
No, I don't think so. But I will. Okay. So I'm gonna say this: when it says that it's calling out to granola men, I don't understand why the granola men are reaching out. But I will tell you this, Jenna. So we're gonna be looking at these photos.
Okay.
And Jenna, her the first statement that she says she is a bisexual, sun-hating bitch, only interested if you are dead, or Nathan Fielder. Very goth photos, punk. Now, I am by no means super goth looking, but I did notice when I was living in Orange County, I remember as soon as I started getting tattoos, double piercing, double nose rings, cut my hair, dyed it black, and had I used to have short, more like rockabilly bangs. All of a sudden, all these fucking 50-year-old golf dads who were super boat shoe wearing men were flocking towards me.
Yeah.
And they would always make comments about it being they were always just man, you seem like you'd be a wild time. Yeah. And it was just kind of this assumption that because I looked a little different than most of the Orange County, blonde, very specific clothing wearing women around them, that they thought this is a different flavor.
Exactly.
And I bet her nipples are pierced. I don't know how many times men came up to me and asked me if my fucking nipples were pierced. Yes. Welcome to Orange County with all of these creepy old dudes. But I think it's because I was a little different.
And so that's what I will say too, is you probably, it's difficult because obviously it seems like all these photos are very rooted in your identity. You're like you're saying, this kind of punky, gothy bitch. So I mean, you specifically said, you know, I'm a sun-hating bitch. So, and you want someone who looks dead. I will say what that lumps you into the category of is alternative. And in your area, it sounds like the most alternative guys in your area are going to be like these super granola dudes who probably have this, you know, this fetish for these goth girls that they've always wanted to date in high school or whatever. So it's kind of a catch-22, right? Because I would say the antidote to that is have some more fucking pictures. But if that's not you, it's not you.
Yeah, that's the thing that's tough. Is like Jenna is very specifically, as she says, a bisexual sun-hating bitch. All of the photos, you've got your like dope corsets on, you've got like, you know, red contacts and black lipstick,
Right?
And
like, do you mostly? If you only wear black lipstick, what are you gonna do?
Right. So that's the thing that's tough. That I think that, like Becca was saying, you might be getting these granola guys because they're like, ooh, fun, alt, different.
Look, I will say, all right, let's just assess it though, even just on face value.
Yes.
A lot of low quality pics in terms of actual photo quality, right? Like, like the one where it's a selfie and there's a fan in the background where it says magician's assistant. You know, it's not a great pic in terms of quality. You look stunning, but like you've already got other photos where you look stunning. So I guess my thing would be like, all right, you do shit during the day, right? Like, you know, you got to have something. There's something else in your life, right? That's not wearing like harnesses and corsets or fire eating, presumably. So like, you know, what about somewhere where you like to eat? Or like do you have a pet? Or like
for instance, Jenna, there's this photo with you and your friend drinking wine, and you're in like maybe a hotel hallway, and you're in a sweatshirt and shorts. And I like a photo like that, like put in as more of a variety. I can't see your face in it. I wish I could see your face in this specific photo. But like, yeah, Becca, like you were saying, you know, still obviously rocking your style. That's who you are.
Right.
But most all of these photos it looks like when you are like on a night out or when you are working. And so I think mixing it up would be a good move, because then we're seeing more of like a dynamic of, I mean, because obviously like who you are is also part of like what you do.
right.
But there's other pieces of you.
Right.
And I feel like we're seeing a more of one specific dimension.
Like, what about you who, well, I guess you don't like the sun. I was gonna say, what about like you without makeup, like on a picnic, you know? Or even like in the wine section at the grocery store.
Yeah, I think definitely adding just a little more of a variety of lifestyle photos might open the door to like more people coming in that aren't just like the granola boys who are hitting you up.
Yeah, I would just say some people, well, and it all depends on what you're looking for. Because also, like, do you want someone who's the same aesthetic and vibe as you? Because if you're open to people who aren't, you're gonna have to show the sides. I mean, I don't know. I would say that you might want to show some different sides, like we're saying. Because some people, like other women, you know, or might be like, oh, you know, I don't dress like this, or this isn't what I do, so like she probably won't like me.
So yeah, so Jenna, I don't know if you are only attracted to people who have the same aesthetic as you.
She said people who look dead, so.
True. But some people can look dead.
Right.
But also not have the full aesthetic that Jenna has.
You can be
right?
an attorney who looks dead.
Yeah. You can. I've definitely seen some people with some hot under eye bags.
Right.
Who are not necessarily in the full aesthetic that Jenna is presenting. So the question is, if you are down with some people who are looking a little more dead, looking a little more vampire-ish, but not full-blown aesthetic like you, if someone sees these photos, who does look dead, who is into similar things as you are, but doesn't present that full aesthetic, they might go, like Becca was saying, I don't think that Jenna is going to be into me because I don't have like the full vibe that she has going on. And you might very well be into one of those people.
You also look like you only party in these photos, which that's not a problem, but you might be attracting people who just want to party. Like
That's true.
Most, like you said, most of these photos look like you're going out. So I just think that that's something to be aware of.
Yeah, so yeah, it just depends on what vibe you're trying to catch out on these dating apps. If you are like, you know, wanting to have a comrade who's going to go out with you and party and have a good time and eventually become a partner, awesome. But if you're like, oh, I don't always party, maybe Jenna, because it's like for work, look at Jenna is out here fucking eating fire, looking incredible in like these photos. Like the amount of work that goes into her work and her aesthetic is a lot. Jenna very well may do that for work, and then on Jenna's off time might be a little more of a homebody and like to be curled up and watching TV shows. But from these photos, we don't get that, if that is who you are.
Right. Yeah, what about even like PJs cradling a laptop that has Nathan for you on it? You know,
love it.
So
love it.
I mean, I my main advice, regardless of who you're looking to attract, is show a little more dimension.
I mean, my God, this first photo of her.
I know the first photo is amazing.
Jenna, this first photo of you, it is.
It's so hot. I
mean,
love it.
You look absolutely unreal. And I'm fine with this as the first photo, by the way.
I love it.
This is a great first photo. I think
it's like, be afraid of me, bitch. I love it.
I'm obsessed. Great first photo. I think then for a second photo could be maybe a little more of like a cozy at home vibe. And then the next photo, you all strapped up corset. And then the next photo, you know, maybe you with a friend. Just like, yeah, Becca was saying, just a little more dynamic.
I think that Jenna should do what we were saying too, and get have a photo shoot with their friends.
Yeah,
and you could do it. So you could have a fucking picnic in a graveyard or something. You know, like
love.
Get a little creative. I say, because there are a lot of selfies, a lot of night out pics.
I love her.
But tattoos. I just say mix it up. Mix it up. Try something. Go out of your comfort zone. Get some new photos on your camera roll.
I mean, wow, talented. Look at her fire eating.
Wild.
I will keep that in. I mean, that's so impressive.
It's amazing.
That's so cool.
It's amazing. But also to that point though, you've got two very high quality pics.
Yeah.
And then everything in between is kind of like phone
a little
pics.
more like, a little more fuzzy.
So. Yeah,
it's a little bit like keep the pics high quality, but then some of the environment a little more mellow yellow. But like you said too, the mellow yellow could be like you at a graveyard at nighttime if you want to keep that aesthetic going.
Or even a cute photo of you posed next to the fridge with like a wine bottle. But like, you know, just, I don't know, just mix it up. Mix it up. Show different dimensions because I know that there's a lot of dimensions of you.
All right, on to the next.
Yeah. Okay, this person specifically says, Mary, I feel like I've hit a wall with my dating life and I need your help. Are my pics too sexy? Am I too funny? Am I just too perfect and intimidating to find a man?
Oh, I love you, Mary Kay.
All jokes aside, I'd love to hear your input on what I should add and omit from my dating profile. Amazing.
Love it. Going over Mary Kay's the info and the pics. The info, I am charmed.
Yeah.
I am very charmed.
I love the fun fact. Cows kill more Americans per year than sharks do. Love that.
I am so, I love that fun fact. I feel like that's a great conversation starter. You know, I know like, I'm literally like, after reading that, my fingers are itching to start Googling something. Now, is it too good of a fact that people will get distracted and Google it and then forget about Mary Kay?
Possibly.
That's
one of my favorite things. Okay, let's go. Let's start with the text. So let's start with the about me.
Okay.
What's your favorite movie of all time? Too broad. Nix that. Nix that. You need something like we said in the beginning, more specific but more broad. Like.
Also, this is the about me section. So I feel like a question might be better in one of your question option sections. Because when I'm reading through this, Mary Kay, the way that it's set up is like in a paragraph that doesn't have like any cohesive flow to it. I'm a little scattered with like not quite knowing, because it says, you say, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Yeah.
And then you hop right into, I'm just a simple girl. Like, so there's not that flow.
And then after
I'm
the
a little
simple girl,
confused.
then after you say I'm just a simple girl trying to keep all her houseplants alive, and then after that's real life proof that only hot people got the Pfizer vaccine. So this is to me reading as like captions on a photo that are all disjointed. So
yeah, you can, I feel like with an About Me section too, there's other options, again, where you can put other captions for a photo or have other questions. I agree. What is your favorite movie of all time is too broad.
Generic.
So I would put that maybe in another section of your profile, but have a specific question.
Yeah. And I would do something way more specific, like, which Disney princess would win in a cage fight. I know we keep going back to the Disney stuff, but like something like that.
Yeah, whatever you're more
Disney
specifically
cereals,
into.
like what's something that everyone can sort of relate to, but is more like, because when someone says, what's your favorite movie of all time? I'm like, that's like...
Yeah, it's just too much. I can't even think. That's like just too broad of a question.
Right.
Now, if in your About section, you want to start a conversation that involves a movie, then you'd want to maybe make more of a statement and make it more specific. You know what I mean? Like if you want to say the Star Wars Empire Strikes Back is the best movie of all time.
Which you would say that organically. Right. Yeah. No, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking literally the exact same thing, where it would be like, I'm a sucker for Star Wars movies, and be like, and then put in a parentheses, like, Empire Strikes Back is the best, fight me, or something like that.
Something more playful than where someone can go, because most everyone's seen Star Wars movies, so then someone can slide into the DMs and be like, it's A New Hope that's the best, or like, oh my God, weren't the most recent ones terrible, or like whatever someone's gonna say, that they can engage with you about Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. I love the Star Wars series, like the new movies are horrible. Don't at me.
Yeah. Did you think Kylo Ren was a better villain than Darth Vader?
Right,
like
sure.
It's like what 9 movies that they can reference to if then they know that you're like a Star Wars fan.
I've also learned nothing about you in this. Like a simple girl trying to keep her houseplants alive. Again, like kind of like a goofy IG caption, but sort of generic. Mm-hmm. And same with real life proof that only hot people got the Pfizer vaccine. Generic. So like we need to know about you.
I think, here's my thing. I think the quip, real life proof only hot people got the Pfizer vaccine, is funny. You're clearly in these captions, you're a funny, charming person. I wouldn't necessarily like reference, I would make the About Me section maybe a little more timeless, like currently with the Pfizer vaccine, like maybe.
I know what you're saying.
Do you know what I'm saying? There's something a little like, and even if then you're
it's not personal.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, like, we're vaxxed, you got the Pfizer, like, but that's not about who you are. That's about like currently what's going on.
What about, do you think it's too, like, what if you put like, what if you literally put like, here's like 3 of my opinions that you'll probably agree with, and like here's 3 that you probably won't.
Oh, I like that.
Put that in my About Me. Be like,
I like that. What about in About Me you do 2 truths and a lie?
Ooh,
that are a little outrageous.
Love that.
Right?
Yeah,
so
I like
2
that.
wild things about you and then 1 fake thing, and be like, DM me if you think you know, or like message me which one you think is the lie. That's always that's a conversation starter. You're gonna get people who are gonna message you something, because then at least
what if you did it with this? What if you did About Me and you put bullet points with 3 facts, and then you said after that, like, one of these is a lie, like, message me like which one you think, and like
I think that's great.
And like if you guess it right, like, I mean, this might be too far, but like if you guess it right, I'll give you my number, or like something like that, or like
no, then you're
or like if you
give a lot of numbers,
or like if you get it right, I owe you a drink, or like just something
playful,
non-committal and playful.
Yeah, because that way, then that is an easy in for people to message you, and
it
then,
also is personal,
and then you get at least 2 things out about you that are personal, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like I have 13 siblings is one of the facts, and maybe whether it's a truth or a lie, maybe it's something interesting.
Yeah. Also, I know this is getting so beyond specific right now.
Yeah.
But when I'm going through a dating profile, I would imagine I'm flipping very quickly through everything. So I'm catching keywords. And when I right away looked at this, the phrase that I right away saw was simple girl. And I'm like, no, Mary Kay, you are not a simple girl. You are dynamic and you are fun. And I personally, I don't like that, like saying that.
No, I don't like that either.
I would rather, like, I'd prefer you to be like, I'm a dynamic bundle of energy, or like I'm something, like I'm
tells me something about you.
Yeah, or I am the greatest person you'll ever meet. Like, just I would talk more highly about yourself than simple girl.
Yeah.
Just personally. Just
even
because
if
those are keywords that I'm seeing
even
right
if
away.
it's like I can, drink a football player under the table.
Sure.
Whatever. Like
Sure.
And I would do the 2 truths and a lie. I would make them like very specific stories. I wouldn't be like I kill all my houseplants. I would do like I peed my pants in front of the whole school during a choir performance my sophomore year of high school.
I love it.
Make it very specific, make it very silly, make it interesting. I encountered a ghost in my grandma's closet like in 2007.
Love it. There's something about specific that just feels good in those situations. It feels more intimate, and I pay attention more. And my brain just starts paying attention.
Like there's 2 different ways of doing it, right? Because you could be like, every goldfish I've ever owned has died within a week. Or you could be like, I won a goldfish at the fair and named it Fluffy, and it flopped off the counter and my dog ate it 2 days later. It's like sort of the same thing, but one's much more fun.
Yeah, I just engage. My brain right away engages more with something that's specific and a little more detailed.
Yeah, and then someone can message you and be like, "Why'd you name a goldfish Fluffy?"
Yeah, why in the world? Yeah. No, I like that.
Now, I love the photo. To me, this is like a perfect dating app photo. The one of you in the glass floor.
Oh my gosh.
With the skyscrapers.
Love that. You look absolutely adorable. You're in like such a cool, fun location. What are your thoughts on the caption? It says, favorite quality in a person: kindness, a good sense of humor, and a nice butt. I guess that's 3, but who's counting?
Nope, too generic. It's like the what's your favorite movie? Favorite quality in a person, I would say like, even just like something like the ability to handle spicy foods. As an example. Something different.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. Like, I guess when you're on these, it's like, yeah, you want... Who doesn't want someone who's kind and has a good sense of humor? Like, everyone's out there looking for that. And I love... That's the thing, though. Like, with the good butt add-in, and I guess there's 3, but who's counting? You see, like... that side of Mary Kay where she's super funny and she's super cute. But I think with the being specific and doing something like what you're saying about like people who can handle spicy foods, it is just more of an attention grabber, and I just feel like people are going to be way more likely to engage with it.
Yeah. Favorite quality in a person, like someone who's willing to make a McDonald's run at 2 a.m. with me. Like, says something about you. We don't learn anything about you by you saying kindness, a good sense of humor, and a nice butt, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, I think the important thing to remember in a dating app is it's about you. Don't make it about the other person, right? So
don't make it too niche about you.
No, but what I'm saying is, but this is your opportunity for people to have the pleasure to get to know who you are.
Right.
And I feel like the questions, when they're focused on like what are you looking for or what's your favorite thing in a partner, making it about the actual person then takes away a valuable little area where you could talk about something specific about you, or a way that you could make something more niche for someone to be interested in.
Right.
But then just these more general answers, I just feel like you're wasting a bubble.
And you know what? Also, I feel like from what I've heard with people with dating apps is sometimes they just feel like they're wasting time trying to figure out who a person is. So you should give someone a sense of who you are on the dating app so they don't feel like they're going to have to work to find out who you are. Because I'll tell you this, girl, I scroll through your profile and I read what you're saying and I'm like, Mary Kay, You could be any girl on Instagram. I have no idea who you are. Of course, it's a dating app, so like, how do you know someone? But
it needs to be more unique about who you are. And it's very clear, again, that's the thing. It's very clear from your email to us and just the energy that you're putting out in your statements that you do have like funny, great things to say. Take advantage of those bubbles and say them about yourself. Even if you feel like it's being too, my thing is like, I don't know, Mary Kay, how you're feeling about this, but there's something about this where I feel like I think Mary Kay, the vibe I get from her is that, especially from that email that she wrote us, she's super funny. And I almost feel like you're holding back in your profile a little bit where you're trying to be a little more generic to not be as maybe quirky in your profile. And I'm a little bit like, just put it all out there.
Right.
Because I believe, Mary Kay, I believe in my spirit that you know the right thing to say on these and that you are holding back a little bit.
Right.
It's just my thought.
Right.
Be you. Be you. Now, photo-wise, I
like the first photo.
Love the first photo. I love that you're in a cute little bikini.
You're in an outdoor setting.
I like that it's more focused, like closer up on your face, and you're smiling, and the lighting's really nice.
Yeah.
I love it. It's very like inviting, and I'm like, oh, Mary Kay looks absolutely lovely.
Yeah. Love the second photo as well.
Love the second photo of you.
I say switch up the third and fourth photo, the one with your friends and the one with the sparkler.
They're both really cute, but I'd like to get to know more about who you are in your pictures. Like, is there, like you talk about your plants, maybe you have a funny picture of you surrounded by tons of plants.
Yeah.
Or if you have an animal that you're into, or what you do for work, or you at school, or whatever that is. Yeah. These second and third, or the third and fourth photo, I feel like are an opportunity to get to know who you are a little bit better. And they're cute pictures of you, but I'm not gauging who you are in the photos.
Yeah, like you say in my interest, you say you like festivals, bars, and cooking. So like, yeah, why not have a photo of you posing with something that you've cooked?
Yeah.
And like,
I also love a very organic, non-posed looking photo in the kitchen with you like in the middle of cooking things. Like I feel like you get a really cute photo that doesn't look perfectly posed with you cooking.
with glasses on, your hair's up in a bun, you're in your element.
Yeah, like laughing, like you're there with, if your friends, you're there cooking for your friends or something.
Also, the quality of the one with the sparkler for some reason reminds me of like a photo your mom might have on her fridge of you.
Yeah, the quality isn't super high.
I would say, like, in place of that one, I mean, maybe I'm a little cliche with this, but I love the posing with the drink photos. And you said you like bars. I love like a cute margarita or something, like sipping.
I do like the last photo a lot with you and your glasses. That's a close up of selfie of you
very
smiling.
Very clear photo of your face.
Very
like
clear.
You're saying.
I like seeing you with your glasses on. It's a little bit of a different vibe than
and the lighting's good.
The only thing that I would say is I don't know what's going on in the background.
I don't know. I would crop out the tissue box and whatever's on that table.
I see a tissue box and why? Like,
I don't know what's happening.
I'm not sure.
Oh, it's a screen. It's a computer screen. It's a desk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would crop that out too.
Yeah,
I thought when I first glanced at it, I thought you were in like some messy backyard.
Yeah, maybe instead have a photo like that up against like a white wall or something like that.
Just
or like,
crop out the tissue box scene. Look at like that. It's good.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's great.
Love that photo though too.
You know what I do kind of like the idea of?
What?
Like a photo like this, how Mary Kay, it's a super cute selfie and it's mostly her. I like the idea of having a photo like that where there's something crazy happening in the background. But it's a selfie of you smiling. I feel like that's a fun
what
conversation
if you can make a
starter.
pan be on fire? Like, what if you can be in your kitchen and you can somehow orchestrate, like you could literally put a piece of paper in a pan and light it on fire and be like smiling.
Yeah, like you have no idea.
Like, I love to cook,
it's a close up of you, a smiley selfie, big smile, glasses, your whole thing, and then in the background, like fuzzy, is like you stage it where like one of your friends
is
like
extinguisher
extinguisher or like about to like take a bottle and like smash it over another friend, like something crazy in the background, and you're just smiling like there's no idea. I feel like you'd get a lot of people who would be like, what the fuck is going on in the back of this picture? Like, I feel like that's a fun conversation starter.
That's a great idea in general, for sure. I love that idea of there being like a fire in the background, and someone with a fire extinguisher pretending like they're about to put it out,
and you're like
I
smiling
love to
happily.
cook.
Yeah.
Like what if you had what if you had like a spatula in your hand or something?
Someone's gonna comment on it. I would comment on that.
Yeah.
I'd feel like, okay, there's an open door that I can be like, I don't know if you noticed, but, or like literally like you smiling and in the background, like your friend is getting handcuffed.
Yeah.
Or like even, you could make it even kind of sexy and like kinky. Like in the background, something is, like one of your friends is doing like a fun little ball gag and it looks like something's going down and someone's like, what is happening in the background?
All bound with the ball gag on their knees.
No idea what's happening.
That's kind of fun.
It's a fun way to hook, line, and sink.
Or even someone with like ketchup all over them. And they're like,
yeah,
on the ground.
Just something that's just like absolutely outrageous.
I love that idea. That's a great idea.
That people know is clearly like, it looks staged, but it's funny.
Yeah.
It's a fun conversation starter.
Yeah. Love that.
Love. All right, ready?
Next one? Okay.
Next one. By the way, I feel like after all of these, I'm not saying thank you. Thank you to all the broads who have sent these in.
Yes.
We so appreciate you letting us just throw out these suggestions.
Okay. Miranda's next.
Next, we have Miranda.
Okay, I have a lot of thoughts, Miranda. I'm going to help you. First things first, the text.
Let's dive into the text.
I suggest not leading with "I'll fall for you" if you're super tatted.
True, because a guy who does not have a lot of tattoos,
It's like the wingspan one to me.
he's not going to engage in, guess what? People can get more tattoos. The thing is, maybe he likes tattoos and maybe he's got a couple and is willing and wants to get more tattoos and will at some point, but is like, oh, Miranda's not going to be interested in me unless I'm covered in tattoos. And that also, super tatted is something very specific to you.
Yeah.
Like, my mother would consider me to be super tattooed. I would consider someone who literally has no space on their body super tatted.
Sure. That's a good point.
That's, you have some guy who's got maybe 15 tattoos. Maybe you think that being super tattooed, but maybe then that guy's going, I don't have face tattoos and I'm not covered with neck tattoos, so I guess I'm not gonna
if you really
engage.
wanted to keep that, I would then take out the super. Be like, if you're tatted.
If you're like, I need a guy who's gonna have some tattoos, because if you say I just need someone who's got tattoos, that leaves a lot of men open.
Yes, and then you can weed out as you go. But
yeah,
I still wouldn't. Okay, so this is my thing. When we're going through, I'll fall for you if you're super tatted. I bet you can't match my breakfast cooking skills. I want someone who'll be my forever gym partner. Honestly, though, this does tell more about me than honestly I think. But it does feel like sort of these more generic facts. You like to work out. You like to cook breakfast. You like tattoos. It's also like not specific enough where it's like you saying like, I like music. Or like, I like music. That's like you saying like, I like musicians going out for drinks and clothes. Right. Yeah.
And those are three very true things about me.
But that tells me nothing about Jess.
That's not who I am. I'm so complicated.
I'm so much more unique and deep than that.
So complicated. But yeah, I think that like you could take these things that you're saying that are more like a basic synopsis and make them more specific, and that even if just like a fine tune of like, I bet you can't match my breakfast cooking skills. Maybe specifically say what that is, what your favorite thing to make for breakfast is. Like I bet
you can't cook a breakfast burrito like I can.
Right.
You know, it's like even that's a little more specific, right?
Just something, just a little more specific. A little more. I mean, I also like something that, again, is going to be a conversation starter. I can make the best breakfast burrito that you've ever tried. What type of breakfast food would you cook for me? Or something that's a little more than like a engage with me. Like, what are you going to make, so that you can send something? I don't know.
Yeah. Kind of like we said earlier, like
my inclination, Miranda, is to scratch these.
Yeah.
And then just to dive deeper into who you really are. I also look at, I see you say, I want someone who will be my forever gym partner. And, you've got 2 photos of yourself at the gym. Clearly you love working out. And I would so then imagine that you want someone who also is going to work out with you. But it just feels too vague to me.
Right. Like I want someone who, I mean, if you really want someone who's into working out, be like, I want someone who can squat more than, I don't know what the numbers are.
However much you do.
Squat more than 300 pounds or like whatever. I don't know if that's a crazy number, but
right. But again, that's also very specific, and what you have to be aware of. Clearly, again, you love working out, and that's something that you're passionate about. Is that a deal breaker if the person that you're with, and this is obviously then, for you, is it a deal breaker if the person that you are with is not a huge gym person? Like, they're active, but they're maybe not like constantly in the gym. Is that something that you're like, my partner has to be in the gym with me, or else I'm not interested?
Right.
Because again, this is then another thing where it's like, you want someone who's going to be your forever gym partner. You are negating a lot of potential options, because there are a lot of people who like to be active who aren't necessarily just in the gym all the time, right? So you could talk about being active, but maybe not just have it specifically be to the gym. I feel like in general with a lot of these profiles that we're seeing is, before you make the statements, think about like, is this truly a deal breaker if this person isn't into it? It's
watching
like,
TV with me, going to the gym with me, like,
right. Are those things that are deal breakers? So it's, again, going back, it's like for Dan Lee, like, is it a deal breaker if someone isn't into the specific type of music you like? For Jenna, is it a deal breaker for you if the person doesn't look dead, right? It's kind of like, are these things, because if you say that, everyone is so self-conscious.
and also no one wants to waste their time.
No one wants to waste their time.
I see that and I'm like, I don't look dead. I'm moving on.
Right. No one wants to waste their time, but also most people all of us are so in our heads, and we're already so hypercritical, and most people are so self-conscious
and so vulnerable when we're dating,
and vulnerable that they read that. And even if they do have some tattoos, even if they do like the gym, a lot of people are going to go, it's probably too much, and I'm probably not at the level that they want me to be. So I'm just not even going to engage.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to get their pride hurt.
Yeah.
So before you make those statements, I feel like it's very important to be like, is this really a deal breaker for me? Or could I be with a person who isn't always at the gym? And that's my soapbox.
Yeah, I also think that like grainy photo with the weird coloring is, I say scrap that one. The one above with the friend, that there's like really weird grainy coloring, and like your hand looks gray, and
yeah, no, I feel like Miranda, it's what we've said with some of the other broads, photo shoot time, baby.
Yep.
Time to...
I like the first one. I think like the first one's cute.
The first one is
cute. Like you're in a cute atmosphere.
I definitely would say, I see the colors. I love your outfit. I would be swiping because I'd be like, oh, I want to see what her other pictures look like.
I like the selfie one too.
I like the selfie one too. It's very pretty. And again, I'm a sucker for a close face shot. Mm-hmm. I'm a sucker for a close face shot. But I feel like the remaining photos are all a little grainy. This one,
I like the gym selfie photo, like the one where she's taking it in the mirror. The very last one.
Yeah, that one's cute.
I like that one because it's showing you in a gym. I don't like the one where you're standing in front of what looks like a national monument. So your body looks banging, though. Yeah, photo shoot, like we've said.
Yeah, and then I think one of these you can tell because it says no sound in the corner is a video or a boomerang, so can't quite judge that one. But again, it looks like another one that's close up of your face. You already have one of those, so I would say one or the other.
I like the video because it does show people can see your face. You know,
true.
Yeah, see it in different angles.
Just variety. I feel like we're preaching the same couple things, and I think that we're seeing the same things in a lot of the profiles is mix up the location, mix up what you're doing.
Get more specific with who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some more specific things, like with the gym partner thing. Like you said, I think that's great advice. Like, figure out if this is really a deal breaker.
Yeah, if it's not a deal breaker, then realize that you might be missing out on specific people who aren't maybe massive gym goers. Maybe some guy who's really big into running and hates being inside a gym but is like super active.
Or one that's a total gym rat who doesn't have tattoos. Like, you got to realize what this profile is telling me is you've got to be like blasted with ink and like, you know, in the gym 5 days a week. And that's a very niche portion of the population. You got to realize you might be missing out on a ton of other people. Yeah. Let's do one more.
One more. All right. Our final broad that we will be going over for this episode, and again, broads, let us know if you want us to keep doing this because you all sent in so many, and it feels so bad not covering everybody's, but there were literally 1,000. So we just had a handful that we could start to dive into, and we just literally started at the top of the pile, and we can make our way down.
And guys, we have a lot of opinions, so you know it's going to be slow moving. But I feel like a lot of this advice is very like. I will say this, there's only so much advice you could give. Like, it comes down to the same stuff we've been saying.
It's true.
Comes down to variety of photos. Comes down to unique stuff that shows who you are. And that's all there really is. Like,
and I do think qualities of photos, I know you keep talking about that. I do agree with you, even though it's something that like, I would say off the top of my head as somebody who, you know, isn't great about taking pictures, that like, I'd be like, oh, it wouldn't matter to me the quality of someone's photo because that's not a thing. But when you are going through ones that are really clear, stick out.
Of people.
Yeah, the ones that are very clear, they do pop, that have like a great like color dynamic to it, that are clear. Like, you just stop on those just naturally.
Yeah, and I would say the more photos, the better. And I personally, like, a lot of girls do this. I've noticed, like, heavily filtered or edited, like, selfies. That doesn't really tell anything about you to anyone. So I would shy away from that.
And throw in a video if you can.
Okay, so this lady, there's emojis over her friends' faces, but Mackenzie is free game. She's a 25-year-old lesbian from Toronto.
Mackenzie.
Now, I will say, I really like some of the photos that you have on here. I would not lead with the first one. Shall we start with the text again?
Let's start with the text again.
Together, we could fall in love and run off to a British countryside or a French countryside or British metropolitan. Up to you. I like that.
I like that too. It's specific. It's something that you enjoy.
It's a conversation starter.
You know, again, it's what are you on here for? If you're on here to meet like a partner, then I think the fall in love piece is cute. But if you're on more casually, as much as I think that could be playful, you might then attract people who are more serious. And if that's not what you're looking for as much, just be aware of the wording, I would say.
She said, I've been on and off the apps, never resulting in a serious relationship, which is not a super big deal to me currently. It sounds like she's open to it.
Yeah, okay. So if you're open to it, then beautiful.
My most controversial opinion is I don't like chocolate. While it is a controversial opinion, I'm not into it, and here's why. Where the fuck are you supposed to go from there? Oh, how do you hate chocolate? Yeah. I love chocolate. Well, I just don't like it.
Yeah. It's true. Someone will slide into your DMs and be like, are you fucking kidding me? How can you not like chocolate? And then you'd be like, I don't like it. And then it just ends there. And then I guess the person, if they were digging, could be like, well, do you like anything sweet? And then you could say, you know, whatever. I like apple pie. And then, and then where, it's a little bit like, where does it go? Unless you find a person who is very good at conversation and is just like, crazy, because my grandmother owned an apple pie factory, and did you ever go to, it's going to take someone who's,
a better controversial opinion would be like, okay, what if there's like a famous lesbian movie and you're like, blah, blah, blah is vastly overrated. Like, convince me otherwise.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Somewhere to go, you know, somewhere to go.
A movie, a famous icon.
I don't think blah, blah, blah is hot.
I like
person. It's kind of edgy. It's maybe a little verging on negative, but
it's verging on negative, but if the rest of your statements, like the one above is talking about falling in love in the French countryside, that's very romantic, very wistful. And then you throw in one like that.
I think Megan Fox is overrated or whatever.
Right. Then it's a little bit like, oh, okay. But then it's balanced out, because then you have like a romantic wistful and you're like, oh, okay, this is a fun conversation starter. I like that.
Yeah, you can also make it not too, you know, you don't want to be like Scarlett Johansson's ugly. No. You know, it's like, that's like, you know, negative. Be like, blah, blah, is overrated.
Yeah,
when it's someone that everyone thinks is super hot. You know?
Overrated is a good term to use. It's a little more balanced.
Okay, this next one too. The next blurb to me is too much like the first one. Okay. She says, I want someone who indulges my endless pursuit to drink iced chais with oat milk and test vegan sandwiches. For one, it's too long, and I am just like, I can't even focus to read this whole sentence. But two, it feels very specific in the way that the first one does, where it's like French countryside and British metropolitan. And now it's just getting a little too specific, where you're like, okay, oat milk iced chais and vegan sandwiches on the French countryside. Like, all right.
I think, because of course we keep harping on liking the specific, and this is specific. I think, I don't know quite how to say this, Mackenzie, but there's something about this that is specific without being specific at all. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, It's specific, but there's something about it. Minus, the only thing that I'm taking away that I would then, that I'm noting is vegan. So I'm like, okay, that's important. If that's very important to you.
So how about this instead? I want someone who is open to the merits of vegan cheese. Or like something silly like that.
I like that.
Or won't immediately write off vegan cheese.
I like
be
that.
Like, and then in a parentheses, you could be like, I'll show you the best brands or something like that. Like,
yeah, a little smiley face.
Yeah, winky face or something, yeah.
There's something about food that automatically feels generic to me. Because we all eat.
Or like iced chais.
And there's
it's like saying I like coffee.
Yeah, it's something about that. So you do get more specific in this, because you're talking about you like iced chais, oat milk, testing vegan sandwiches.
You also just had a food fact. I don't like chocolate.
True. Lots of that. But yeah, there's something when you make it a little shorter and more playful, but still specific, that kind of catches you in.
Yeah. Is open to the idea of vegan cheese. Something silly like that. I like that one personally. Biased. Okay, I know I said the dog thing earlier, but I think this one's really cute. The photo, I'm jumping to photos, but the end, which is sort of like a little text thing. It's like, are you a dog person? Because, and she's curled up on the floor, like next to a crate, sleeping with her dog.
Adorable.
I like that.
I like it. If there's at all more of a photo where I can see you a little better,
right?
That would be me being very particular.
You know what though? I like it because it's like candid. It's showing like a messy space.
That's true. That's true.
It's like, it's a vulnerable photo in a way. Like it looks like you're actually sleeping next to your dog.
Well, I think it's a very real photo.
And to me, that's very endearing. You don't normally see that. You're like, this is her unposed.
That's true, because I can't really see you and I can't really see the dog.
Right.
And it's definitely a real photo.
And I like that.
Yeah.
About it.
Yeah. It is very cute. And then the other one is with text, that as seen on my mom's fridge. And it's a photo of you graduating, Mackenzie.
Now, I will say, okay, for photos, the first photo is just like mirror pic With like clothes on your bed in the background.
Yeah, for the first pick, again, the first pick is the first shot. So the first pick has to be the one that's like
in a sunflower field.
Yeah, that's going to be a little more, I would say a brighter color. It's a lot of like muted tones in this, a lot of like a gray. So I'm not.
Make a good point.
It's not going to catch my eye right away because of the color of it.
Make a good point.
It's blurry. So it's not a super clear photo.
I think that might be the screenshot, but I'm not sure. Because I'm noticing the text is really blurry too. True.
Very true.
But regardless, I like even the second pick better with the dog licking your face. Like,
yeah, I would swipe.
I would be more inclined.
Because then I'd be like, oh, I can't quite see your face in this, so I would want to swipe again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely pick one that has a little more pow to it. If you're going to do a mirror selfie, especially as your first one, it's got to have some bright colors in there to make me swipe.
Good point.
Okay, so then the third photo is with you and your friends. Now, here's the thing. I never hate a friend group photo. We like seeing that you're with friends, but you're in the very back.
Literally in the very back.
And I want you front and center, baby. I want Mackenzie Wapow right in the center.
And that looks like a great background, Have someone snap a photo of you, my darling.
Yes, snap a photo of you. But if you're going to be with the friends, I want Mackenzie front and center. Front and center.
Yeah. Like, I like the graduation one with the friend. I think that's cute because it shows that like you have a good education, you have your social.
Yeah, it's something that's important to you, schooling.
I like that one.
Yeah. And then so the selfie one I think is really cute too. If the other photos, I think if you have a way more of like a bam first photo, like have someone take a photo of you for your first photo, wear your favorite outfit and be in a place with like a cool background for your first photo. If you're going to have a friend group photo, have it be maybe something fun out with friends. I love the face you're doing in the photo, Mackenzie.
Yeah, it's
the little
cute.
wink with the tongue out. I think that's adorable. I think if then you mix that up a little more, then like this selfie that you have that's more like Polaroid vibes, I like a lot. I think it's cute.
Yeah, and you're like, it's kind of like sexy, you're in a little swimsuit, I think, in a hot tub. Like, that's a fun vibe. But yeah, I would swap out the one when she's in the very background and definitely the one in the mirror. And like you said, something that packs a punch, something that's a little more polished. Think of it like a job interview, and you don't have to be too uptight, but think of it like you got to stand out from the crowd. You've got to make an impression. You have to. It's when I'll tell you this, broads. When I was interviewing for my very first internship, the job market was like at the lowest that it had been in forever. It was like the crash and it was a nightmare. Yeah.
And no one was getting hired. And so I started to reach out for internships, and it was literally like it was cutthroat business out there. And I finally started getting responses to my emails when I made the subject of my email something wild.
Yeah.
I didn't make it be a resume. I made the subject be like, open this or you'll regret it. Something wild like that. I would mix it up. I would send some wild email. Like, I would send some wild shit. Be like, your company will fail if you don't hire me. I would. And people would always respond to my messages. Even if they wouldn't, I would always get a response. And I would say none of my friends were getting any no one was even responding back. So I would get a lot of no's, but I would at least hear back from people. And then I would also send a video along with it, not just a resume. I'd have my whole resume, but the first thing I had a video, and it would be me talking for 10 minutes, or 10 minutes. It'd be me talking for an hour and a half. It was this podcast. I'm trying to get a job. And no, it'd be me talking for like 1 minute. And
I think that's really smart.
And I'd be like, I'm going to let you know why you are going to regret it if you don't hire me. I am da-da-da-da-da. And it was super and I would get responses back. And I feel like it's the same way with a dating profile.
Yes, I agree. And I had to create profiles for care.com when I was a nanny. And you know what? And this is a good note. You should take advantage of every feature that's possible.
Yes.
So if you can put a video on your profile,
put a video. Yep.
You know?
Agreed.
It was the same thing with care.com. It was like you could put a video as your banner, so I did it. And I dressed all professional and got good lighting and did a little, you gotta take the extra step to stand out.
Yeah.
To have people give you a shot because, yeah.
Even if you want to use the video feature on the dating app to pose one of the questions, you could literally look directly into the camera and be like having a fun, you would be like have friends behind you and be like, okay, listen up. What are your thoughts on and blah, blah, blah. And like, I bet people would respond to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have a fun, I don't feel like I've seen someone with a video asking a direct question. Maybe it wouldn't work, but maybe it would.
You could try it.
Mix it up.
Yeah.
I also think too, if your dating app, if the photos, if the lines that you're using, I know that you have different things that you can like, different conversation starters that you can use, like my most controversial opinion or whatever. Yeah. If you're not getting a ton of responses, switch it up. Don't just let it, like, don't just keep it there. Now, I'm not saying after like 48 hours, if you aren't getting any traction, to be like switching it up constantly. I think that if you're not getting responses, I could see a lot of people just kind of being like, well, I set my profile up already and it's set up. It's like, I would be like, I'm every month putting in some new pictures, changing the conversations, because someone who might have swiped with you, not matched with you before, might end up matching with you. Different stuff. You never know. Keep it experimental.
I don't know either because I've never been on a dating app before.
But we've never done it before, so take our suggestions as you will.
I think they're good.
I feel like they're pretty good too, and I think that they could be good life suggestions.
Well, I really do think like if you are going to present yourself online, you do want to put your best foot forward. And if that means, as obnoxious as it is, getting dressed up and begging your friends to take candid photos of you and spending a decent couple hours, I don't think it's like purely, I mean, it is a superficial thing because you do judge people on the way that they look. So when someone's swiping through, you want to make sure you're putting your best foot forward. High quality photos, props, costumes, makeup,
actors.
Yeah.
Hire assistants.
Budget.
Quit your job to make this happen. This is the only thing that matters. But yeah.
A little portrait mode, though, on a camera can go a long way.
Can go a long way. It's true. And honestly, too, listen, I know that this might feel embarrassing to order, but you can get little tripods for your photo, and there is self-timer on there. And if you don't want to take selfies all the time, or you don't want to ask then people to take them, it is amazing what a little tripod and a self-timer can do on a phone. Yeah. Truly.
I'm sure you have other friends on dating apps be like, hey, can we swap? Can we help each other get better photos? They said to do it on Chatty Broads.
Blame them, not me.
All right, Broads.
Well, Broads, thank you so much for allowing us to use your photos and your names and have access to your dating apps. We do not take it lightly. And again,
we should probably like put these people out there if they want us to, so that then they can get some DM slides for people in their area.
For real, seriously. My goodness. And like I said, there were a whole lot of submissions, so we just started from the top of the list. And if you want us to keep doing this, Broads, you let us know, and we will make our way through all of you generous Broads who have sent us your dating apps. We love you, and tune in Thursday for that BIP recap business.
Chat soon.
Chat soon.